Howdy, partner, and welcome to your favorite preacher show. This is the first show in the past 2 weeks. I took last weekend off in honor of the ice and snow that we had. As I look out my back door, today is Saturday, and according to the clock on the wall, it is 1:40 p.m. As I look out my back door, it's still a bit blustery out. And it is frigid cold, and there are signs that the ice and snow are lingering. So hopefully it's not going to be what I used to hear the older folks say when I was growing up as a boy. When ice and snow would stay around for a while, they would say, it's staying around for the next snow. Well, I talked to my son last night. He lives in Knoxville, Tennessee. He said they had 3 inches of snow on the ground. It was still snowing. Thankfully, we missed out on that one. I know many people in the great state of Tennessee lost power, and they have had a tough time over that. I'm sorry that's the case. I hope things will get better for you soon. Okay, well, back to the show for today. And by the way, I'm not going to spend a lot of time begging you to subscribe, but I do need your help. To reach 250 subscribers, I need your help, so I hope you'll help me out with that. And 15,000 total YouTube views. I need your help on that. So if you'll get to work on that immediately, I will certainly appreciate it. Okay, I have a question for you today. And the question is, why do people not enjoy their lives? Now, I know this is a complicated question, and for some, it takes a lot of time to analyze their lives. So I don't expect immediate answers, but I wanted to give you a few things to think about today. We live in a world of instant and constant news, TV, radio, internet, 24-hour news channels. You can turn the television on any time, night or day, and find out what's happening around the world. When I tune in to television, and by the way, I don't watch a lot of news on television these days. I confess, a few years ago, I was a Fox News junkie. Every day I came home from the office, and I would come home for lunch, spend a little time visiting with my wife, Sue, and I'd turn on television to see what was happening on Fox News. And before I left to go back to the office or make a visit or keep an appointment, I was all bent out of shape because of what I was watching, like there was something I could do about it. And finally, it dawned on me, that's ridiculous. I'm being ridiculous. I'm being foolish. Watching that stuff and getting all bummed out about it. It's kind of like professional wrestling. You got to have the good guy, the bad guy, and the good guy badmouths back and forth, and it gets everybody worked up into a frenzy. And next thing you know, people were fighting. So I decided I would skip out on all that stuff. So I don't watch news these days, certainly not like I did years ago. I admit occasionally I will tune in, even today, to check and see what's going on, but it doesn't take long before I realize I haven't missed anything. But this past week, I tuned in a couple of times, and I read some articles, internet articles. It's about these, I guess what you call marches that are taking place in cities in the great America. Minneapolis, Minnesota, Los Angeles, New York City. And I was watching those people, especially in Minneapolis. It was terrible. I know I've read about some of the things that are going on there. I don't know enough about any of that to be a good judge, but I do know this. Those people who were marching I could tell by looking at them they were miserable people. They just looked miserable. They were shouting all kinds of obscenities, filthy language, spitting on people. I thought to myself, I wonder how many of those people are enjoying their lives. Well, what causes people to be miserable? I don't have all the answers, my friend. I don't pretend to have all the answers. And I know this, there are people who have all kinds of difficult circumstances in life, and maybe that causes them to be miserable. Through the years, I have been a full-time church worker for many, many years. I have visited nursing homes and hospitals and visited people in their homes and found people in all kinds of conditions, many times terrible conditions. And I thought to myself, if anybody had the right to be miserable, it was those people. And yet many times it was just the opposite. So you can have all kinds of very difficult circumstances and still not give in to misery. But what makes people not enjoy their lives? Again, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I think people have such a difficult time enjoying life. Number 1, anger. I mentioned those people who were marching. You can just see anger all over them. Just angry people. Anger was just coming out of them. Miserable. Some of those marchers, they're marching for a cause and they probably don't even know what the cause is. And they're so worked up that they're willing to fight. Even hurt people physically. Because they're so angry. It's just sad. It made me sad watching them. And then on the other hand, there are people who are miserable because of hate. Now, I admit, I have met a few people in my life, and they have lived under such difficult circumstances. I've thought to myself, if I were in their shoes, I may feel the same way. I don't know. I remember years ago, I was watching this movie. It was about this family living in Australia during the Christmas holidays. And this little boy, he had this little dingo dog. I think that's what they are called. And it was sick. Well, he saw this fellow. He met this fellow. He was kind of an older man, had a white, bushy beard. He was a little on the chubby side. And as a little boy, he thought he was Father Christmas dressed in disguise. And so he went to him and asked him if he could help his dog. And the man said, well, I might be able to help your dog. I should know something about dogs. I've been treated like one most of my life. And I have known a few people who probably felt that way as well. But on the other hand, does hate help anything? The Bible teaches us, for example, in Proverbs 10, verse 12, hatred stirs up strife. John the Apostle said in 1 John chapter 2, beginning with verse 9, anyone who claims to be in the light but hates a brother or sister is still in the darkness. Anyone who loves their brother and sister lives in the light, and there is nothing in them to make them stumble. But anyone who hates a brother or a sister is in the darkness and walks around in the darkness. They do not know where they are going because the darkness has blinded them. A lot of people are blind, spiritually blind, and they've been blinded by hate, by anger, and they live in darkness. If I lived in the darkness the way some people live, I'd be miserable too. But you know, friend, I chose a long time ago not to live that way. I chose to live in the light of God, in the light of God's Word. I decided I'd trust what Jesus did on the cross to save me. And as a result of it, it changed my life. And it has helped me in so many ways. It helped me not to be so angry and hateful. It helped change my attitude. And I believe this, friend, if you are one of those, if you were to answer the question, are you enjoying your life? If you answer no, if you decided to turn your life over to the Lord and really trust in Him and get into His Word and allow God's blessings to bless you and ask Him through your prayers to change your attitude toward people and especially about yourself, you know what? If you were to ask Him sincerely, I believe He will help you. And if you want to overcome things that are making you angry, He will help you to do that. And if you want to overcome the tendencies to hate other people and therefore hate yourself, He will help you to overcome that. He'll help you to overcome misery if you'll just trust Him for it. And so, yes, you can enjoy life. That doesn't mean that you're going to be free from problems. I enjoy my life. I really do. I can say that with all sincerity. Has that eliminated problems from my life? Of course not. As I mentioned on this podcast many times, my wife passed away a few years ago. I've had to deal with health problems. No, it doesn't do away with all of that, but it does change your attitude. If you're willing to ask God to help you, it will change your attitude. And if you have the proper attitude, even when you deal with those other problems, you can still, somehow, with God's help, enjoy your life. Well, that's the lesson for today. Before I close, I want you to think about this, friend. And again, keep me in mind. I hope that you will subscribe if you haven't already. Keep this in mind. With a good attitude, with a proper attitude, and most of all, with the proper faith in God, you can overcome even the bad things that have happened to you in the past that have made you what you are today. So keep that in mind. And remember, this is the day that the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I hope that you will have an enjoyable afternoon, an enjoyable evening, and a wonderful Lord's Day tomorrow. Until next time, goodbye.